Unbelievable. I tell them I'm in pain and they act like I'm just making it up. Where in the world did I park my car? What is that thing? Ah, you found it. I've been waiting a long time for someone like you. Who are you? What is this? Come with me and I'll show you. See, my child, you are not the first woman to be dismissed for her pain. It's been happening for centuries, and it all begins with a so-called condition called female hysteria. Welcome to the 19th century, the age of female hysteria. Back then, if a woman was too emotional, too independent, or even just too tired, she wasn't taken seriously. Instead, she was labeled as hysterical, unruly, unstable, in need of control. And here's the worst part. This wasn't just about medical misdiagnosis. It shaped how women were seen for generations. It told the world that women were weak, irrational, and unfit to make decisions about their own bodies. The 1960s. Science was booming, medicine was advancing, but not for everyone. For decades, women were left out of clinical trials, deemed too hormonal, too complex. Instead of studying how medicine worked for everyone, they tested it only on men and assumed women would react the same. And what happens when you ignore half the population in medical research? Women suffer, drugs don't work as expected, diseases go undiagnosed, lives are lost. Are you sure this is safe? Do you see? Over and over again, women are ignored, dismissed, treated as test subjects instead of people. First they called our pain hysteria, now they call it a rare side effect. The Dalkin Shield, a contraceptive they swore was safe, is just one example of neglect in women's health care that can lead to severe consequences on women's health and well-being. In this case, women had infections so severe they became infertile. Some died. And do you know what the company said? They said it was her fault, that her body was the problem. Wow, at least things aren't as bad as they used to be. I mean, we've made progress, right? Have we? Women may no longer be called hysterical, but their pain is still dismissed. Dangerous treatments may be banned, but under-researched medications and procedures still put women at risk. The past may seem distant, but its shadow lingers. Endometriosis affects 1 in 8 women, yet it remains one of the most undiagnosed and misunderstood conditions in medicine. The pain is real, caused by invasive tissue growth, scarring, and inflammation. Left untreated, it can lead to intestinal obstruction, organ failure, and even death. A woman died in 2022 after doctors ignored her pain. She wasn't the first, and if things don't change, she won't be the last. Endometriosis isn't just a bad period. It's a disease that can kill, and yet, because of underfunded research and medical bias, women are still forced to fight for care, just as they always have. Wow, he didn't even ask her. Doctors were once taught that a woman's body belonged to medicine, not to her. Some still believe that. An episiotomy, an incision made during childbirth, was once routine. Women were told that it was for their own good. Many weren't asked. Some screamed for them to stop. But the worst part? Some of these doctors decided they knew best, not just for childbirth, but for a woman's future. They added an extra stitch after delivery, tighter than before, to please her husband. It was called the husband stitch, as if they were nothing but an object to be repaired for the man's enjoyment. This is what it always should have been. For centuries, women have been ignored, dismissed, and even harmed in the very place meant to heal them. Their pain was belittled. Their voices were silenced, and the consequences, physical, emotional, psychological, stretched across lifetimes. Yes, when a woman's pain is dismissed, her well-being suffers. When she is denied agency over her own body, her mental health deteriorates. When her symptoms are left untreated, her entire life can change. Sometimes it can be taken from her. But change is possible. And it starts when we stop treating women as though their pain is imagined. Their health is secondary and their autonomy is negotiable. The past shaped today, but the future? That's still ours to build.